Fantastic fresh fragrances I really look forward to wearing this summer. And I'm bringing back the spray shots so you can see how these bottles perform. Before I begin, make sure you like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments which fragrances you really look forward to wearing this summer. So first up, we have one of my fragrances for love, and what I think this gives you is basically a nuanced dose of freshness. So you get a bit of citrus, you get a spicy kick, and a bit of fresh lavender together with what I feel is a bit of fresh musk. In a way, you could call it, and not just by looking at the bottle, but you could call it a blue fragrance, but I feel this takes blue to another level. The drawdown is where the whole thing starts to get a bit more woody and quite ambery. Parfums de Marly Percival is one of my fragrances for love, and the overall vibe you get with Percival is basically sexy freshness. This is so good, and I wear Percival every single summer, and I really look forward to wearing it this summer again. Percival spray goes down quickly, but the mist is nice and even. So next up, we have a fragrance that I've been using quite a bit, but I really look forward to wearing it a lot more this summer. And it's basically a combination of the aromatic freshness and brightness from lavender together with what I feel is a super creamy dose of coconut. There's a bit of sweetness in Purple Melancholia, but I do not feel this is overly sweet. You also get a really nice and quite smooth spicy kick in the opening. The drawdown is where that super creamy, slightly sweet dose of coconut is blended with a soft dose of woodiness, and the whole thing turns a bit ambery. And Purple Melancholia is basically a mix of aromatic freshness, creamy coconut, soft woodiness, and it's a bit ambery. Purple Melancholia definitely has quite a playful and sexy vibe to it. However, I do feel this is coconut done in a slightly sort of a more elegant and mature way. I really like this and really look forward to wearing it more this summer. Purple Melancholia spray is approved with a nice mist that's a bit more directional. So next up, we have what I feel is a citrus bomb. However, I do feel this is citrus done right, and it's also crazy affordable for not only the amount of juice you get, this is 125 ml, but also for the overall quality. So to my nose, you get quite a nuanced and intense dose of citrusy freshness from Artisan Pure. This has an almost bitter kind of citrus. There's definitely a bit of a green and almost herbal kind of freshness to Artisan Pure as well. And all that quite intense dose of citrus sits on top of a softly woody base. Artisan Pure can definitely be a bit intense in the opening, but give it like 10 minutes and the whole thing is going to soften up a bit. Artisan Pure has a slightly wider mist with an overall okay sprayer. So moving on to what I feel is the absolutely sexiest version of Armani Acqua di Gio. And it basically takes a bit of that signature Armani Acqua di Gio aquatic freshness and blends it with a bit of citrus, but the main twist to Armani Acqua di Gio Elixir is that they added violet and a bit of soft leather. The violet basically adds an additional kind of freshness to the whole thing and basically makes its freshness a bit more nuanced and exciting. This is the Acqua di Gio that stands out the most, and it's definitely the most attractive Acqua di Gio. I'm gonna have to buy a new bottle of this for this summer. I think they lowered the prices at least a little bit, but I'm not sure they made bigger bottles. Absolutely gorgeous scent though that I really look forward to wearing this summer. Elixir sprayer is nice and it's got an even mist. So next up we have this, and just me opening the cap makes the whole space around me ooze of this thing. Now I've talked quite a bit about this fragrance lately, so I'm not gonna say that much about it in this video. However, this to me has that fantastic and incredibly unique Kenzo Marine freshness. That freshness is mixed with a fantastic dose of ylang ylang, which basically brings the whole thing a floral side that to my nose is extremely creamy, that gives the whole thing quite a tropical vibe. The marine freshness, that creamy tropical floral side, sits on top of what I feel is an extremely creamy and smooth dose of sandalwood. Absolute banger, great performance, definitely one of my most unique marine fresh scents, and I'm probably gonna have to buy a new bottle soon. Marine has quite a directional mist, but there's nothing I can complain about here. From one fantastic and unique marine fresh scent to another, I also feel is definitely more on the unique side. And to my nose, what makes this so unique is that its marine freshness basically comes from seaweed. Combine a unique marine freshness together with the spicy fresh kick from ginger and add a salty kind of freshness to the whole thing, and you basically get this. The drawdown of Le Sel de Issey is where the whole thing turns a bit more woody, and you basically basically get this combination of a unique marine kind of freshness together with what I feel is quite a noticeable but smooth dose of woodiness. This is absolutely fantastic, and I do feel that what I paid for this is quite low for what I got. I'm basically waiting for super warm weather to use this a lot more, and I can recommend it if you want a unique kind of marine freshness on you. Issey Miyake Le Sel has a slightly wider mist with a solid sprayer. The next freshie I really look forward to is this thing right here, and this could almost be sort of simplified, be described like if you would take a bit of the mint from YSL Y or Fresh, take a slice of the freshness from Y or the Toilette, but really amp its minty freshness in a direction that I feel goes in a more aromatic way. The drawdown is where its intense minty and aromatic freshness is combined with what I feel is a soft and smooth dose of woodiness, and the whole thing turns a bit ambery. So unfortunately, Y Iced Cologne loses some of its magic the more it dries down. However, it's so good that I really do not care, and what I do is simply to reapply it. I'm not sure you can see this, but I've already put quite a dent to it, and I really look forward to wearing it a lot more this summer. Iced Cologne spray has a bit of a resistance to it, which I really like, and I like the mist as well. So moving on to the second coconut focus scent in this video. Now, if you're a subscriber, then you know that I absolutely love Paul Gaultier Le Beau, basically pretty much the entire line. But if you compare it with Purple Melancholia, these two are quite different. Purple Melancholia has a bit of sweetness, but to my nose, Le Beau takes its sweetness to a more intense level. Le Beau has that gorgeous signature combo of vanilla and creamy coconut. Purple Melancolia's coconut is definitely a bit more creamy than Le Beau's, and Le Beau is basically, at least to my nose, a combination of freshness, coconut and vanilla, and the whole thing is a bit sweet. Tropical, coconutty sexiness that's absolutely perfect for summer. Le Beau has always been one of my main summer bangers since I bought it, and I really look forward to wearing it this summer. Le Beau spray sometimes squirts, but it's a wide and nice mist, and I overall like it. So next up we have this, which I feel is mostly about quite an intense but nuanced dose of citrusy freshness. You also get a bit of aromatic freshness in this thing, so you sort of have layers and layers of different kinds of citrus in this. However, the main thing, at least to my nose, that really makes this shine is its more floral kind of freshness. I mean, it's so good and so extremely well made. The only bad thing about this thing is the price. I think one of the main reasons why there are so many clones and sort of inspired by of Tom Ford Neroli Portofino is that it smells incredibly good. Please do let me know in the comments if you have an alternative to Neroli Portofino that smells as good as this. This is probably my least favorite spray out of all of these. It's a fine mist with an okay spray, but nothing that stands out. So the next citrus bomb in this video is Eros Energy. However, if you compare this to the loud citrus that you get in John Varvatos Artisan Pure, this and that one move in different directions. This is mostly about an intense dose of citrus, but to my nose it's both a nuanced kind of citrus and a smooth one. And when that nuanced dose of freshness starts to dry down, what you're getting is a soft but noticeable dose of woodiness that to my nose almost smells like if you would take a slice of the woodiness in Mont Blanc Explorer. So the dent I so far put into it was from last summer, and this is a fragrance I really look forward to wearing more this summer. Eros Energy has a short and quick spray, but with a solid mist. So moving on to a fragrance I feel is not only quite unique but also incredibly underrated. You get what I feel is quite a unique dose of spiciness in the opening from pimento together with quite an intense dose of aromatic freshness. The lavender in here smells so good, but at the same time so different from what lavender usually smells like. And I believe it's because that lavender is blended with quite a prominent dose of fig and juniper berries. So you get a bit of the fruitiness and sweetness from fig in this. Add a bit of smooth lemony freshness on top of that, and a bit of intense but smooth dose of woodiness underneath it all. And you basically get K Eau de Parfum. I really gotta do a proper review of K Eau de Parfum, but I think it smells really good, and this is definitely a scent that turns heads. Definitely looking forward to wearing it this summer. K Eau de Parfum has a quick spray with a directional mist, but it's good. So next up we have a freshie that is incredibly underrated. Now you may ask who's been underrating it, and that's me. In my first impression that I said that this smells good for sure, but that it was a bit underwhelming. But like you can see, I put a big dent to it since. So I still feel that this is definitely not something revolutionary. But this is one of those fragrances where its freshness is so easy to wear, and I honestly still don't exactly know why this is such an insane compliment getter. There are only 3 notes in this. You get the bergamot, lavender and marine notes. The freshness here, at least to my nose, is intense but at the same time incredibly smooth. So what I don't understand is that to my nose this smells good, but it's really not complex or super unique kind of scent. But there's such a variety to the comments and compliments I received for this. So some say that when they pick up on this, they get a combination of freshness and something sort of smoky fresh, which I really don't get. And I've also received compliments where they say this is fresh, but in a fruity way. So to me it's pretty clear that the way I experience Azure Chrome Azure is not like most others. It seems like to most other people they get something that is more unique. This is such a carefree dose of freshness for summer, and it's among my most complimented summer freshes, and I really look forward to making this dent even bigger. Chrome Azure has a quick sprayer and a fairly directional but solid mist. Like and subscribe, and make sure you drop the freshes that you really look forward to wearing this summer in the comments like always.